Hello, and welcome to the nuts and bolts of NiiCap. And today I am your host, Marcus Greeno, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have Tara Carr, who is the director of the Small Business Development Center at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. And we'll be talking with her today about the many different opportunities that are available with working through a Small Business Development Center. So welcome, Tara.
Thank you so much for allowing me to attend your session today.
No problem. Thank you for being here. And so kind of start off a little bit. So if folks aren't aware, could you tell us a little more about the Small Business Development Centers and what they do?
Yeah, so we are a nationwide network of over 1,000 centers across the country, and we are grant funded through the Small Business Administration. It's a federal program. And since we are grant funded, what we offer the general public is free or no cost business consulting for startups, existing businesses, all through the whole growth process, and also for those businesses that are starting to plan for their succession stages.
Definitely. And so if someone were to come to you and say, I'd like some assistance on developing my business or helping with developing my business plan, what is like the first thing that you usually direct them towards?
Well, the first thing we do is we direct them to our website. And since we are grant funded, we ask them to register as a client that offers confidentiality. And then we can move forward from that standpoint to investigate, fact find out where they are during their business planning process, or if they're a current business, what their goals and objectives or some of their challenges might be, and what roles that they're expecting us to fill, through that investigation process.
Okay. And so once everyone's investigated, do you guys have like mentors or people that can help kind of train these young aspiring business owners to kind of, or young and old, I should say, take the helm of their businesses and, be successful? Can you talk more about that? Is there like mentorship opportunities?
Yeah, so we actually have full-time counselors that are on our staff, and we do have some part-time subject matter experts depending on what the need is of the client. And, our full-time staff, like I said, they go through that investigative process, and then they will meet with each client according to what their goals and objectives might be.
Great. And so sometimes I know when I'm working with a business owner, sometimes their expertise, or at least their skill set when it comes to dealing with the marketing plan, is kind of not the best, or it's very low. So in terms of kind of what services you provide, what can you do to kind of help folks when they're trying to develop their marketing plan? Is there certain like templates you have, or different ways about completing a marketing plan for someone?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, really depends on the situation. Sometimes we can actually help the client through that process and educate them and guide them through what those next steps might be, whether it's spending time truly understanding what the market analysis would be, which would include an industry analysis, defining the target market, going through the steps of problems and solving and solutions. That could also include a competitive analysis. So, if it depends where they are, if it's much more of a promotional focus or social media education, sometimes we can help with those kinds, but sometimes we're also a connector. We're a connector of resources. And so we do have a lot of internal resources within the Institute of Business and Entrepreneurship at the UW system. And we also have other clients that we've worked with in the past that we can refer to if it's beyond our scope of delivery expectations.
Great. And so another piece I know that folks kind of run into is like dealing with the financial plan, or at least financial projections. What are some of the things that you guys do to help folks when it comes to dealing with their cash flow statements, their income statements, their balance sheets? Could you elaborate more on that?
Yes, actually, that's where our sweet spot is for our center. We have highly skilled consultants with a banking background or even an accounting background. And so some centers really focus on startups with our expertise, in terms of our skill development with our consultants. We are very good at helping those businesses that want to grow. So whether they're seeking 2 or 3 or $15 million to try to grow to that next phase, we can help them through the financials. We can help them through valuation process. We can help them through like what you're suggesting with cash flow, or even with their P&L report and doing analysis through the data that's provided.
Great. And then I think also too that sometimes folks they're always trying to figure out, when someone comes to me with their business plan, like it's kind of they have like the good foundation of it, but I think it needs to be more in depth, or at least in terms of presentable in a way. Do you guys help with folks on kind of fine tuning and making it flow better, or at least for that matter, kind of the presentation of their business plans?
Right. So you're probably seeing business plans that are bank ready and they're seeking funding. And so from our perspective, we see two different things, right? We have people that come to us that really don't need bank funding. And so we've actually adjusted some of our programming and some of our teachings to assist those that need much more of the creation and the idea and the structure of how their business is, what it looks like, and what the future is going to be. If they don't need financing, sometimes a business plan isn't for them. But if they are seeking any kind of funding, and when they come to you, right, they're in that stage. And so we have great relationships with a lot of the banks within our region coverage in the northeast sector of Wisconsin, and especially because one of our consultants, Dave Stoffaker, has a banking background. All of the business plans that we help or assist with the preparation for our clients are bank ready, and the format that we use is something that has always given great feedback from the banking industry and in preparation for that.
Great. That's awesome. I'm curious. So I know when I deal with some clients, they're usually kind of curious about state or federal contracting. Does the Small Business Development Center offer any services that kind of help with that certification process, or kind of help them, go through that process of ensuring that they are able to bid on those types of contracts?
Yeah, that's really specialized. And once again, in that type of area, we would be much more of a connector to get people prepared for that. If that involves some financial preparation or some documentation or strategic positioning, we can help from that aspect. But in terms of the step-by-step, we try to make sure that we make sure that we make referrals to our specialized agencies that actually can help in those areas.
Great. And so in terms of the Small Business Development Center, I know looking over your website, there's like different opportunities in terms of financing. I think there's dealing with food financing. Could you elaborate more on that? Because I know there's a lot of our clients that are interested in starting food trucks, or they want to get into some type of food related business.
Right. So under the UW System Institute of Business and Entrepreneurship, there are several entities. And when I talked about resources, so the Food Finance Institute is one of those, and they specialize in helping businesses develop strategies and financial plans in order to follow through, whether it's food manufacturing, whether it's a restaurant, brewery, a food truck, with your example. And we actually, all of our staff are certified in the Food Finance Institute as consultants. And that was something that was really important to us. And it's about almost 20% of our client base for our center. And so it's much more about the strategic positioning. We don't offer any financing, or we don't have funds available. We are a resource to help people seek those funds.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
and
go
the
ahead.
same is true, for example, if it's intellectual property or they want to commercialize their product. We have the Center of Technology and Commercialization. That's another entity that actually helps people bring their product to the market and help plan for that process and plan for the financial undertaking that it endures to do that.
Okay, great, great. And so, in terms, I know another question that I've had with different clients is that they always want to figure out how to generate wealth or kind of create a space where they can, kind of break the barriers down of, before like, their parents, their grandparents, so on and so forth. They weren't really wealthy in a way. So they kind of want to break that barrier down and actually start creating wealth, not only for themselves, but their communities. Is there any resources or opportunities available through the Small Business Development Center to help people understand how to accumulate wealth?
Definitely that's a part of the business planning process, right? We want to make sure that our clients are set up for success. And Wisconsin as a whole is very conservative when it comes to startups, and on the other side of that, those businesses that do start, we have a very high retention, and part of that success is planning and making sure that you are in a financially secure situation when you're starting that business. If you're starting behind the eight ball and you're not financially secure and you don't have the resources adequate resources to open your business, it really makes it hard to kind of move forward. And so, our stance on that is to make sure that our clients are preparing and that they understand what it takes in order to secure that wealth, and based on their business model, based on revenue projections, based on the economy and location and all of those aspects. So I think we're fitting in the more proactive sector of that rather than the final solution. I think is what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, great. No, that's great information. Appreciate that. Is there anything else that I may have not have covered, but that you wanted to convey to our audience of the different other opportunities available through the Small Business Development Center?
I think the big thing is that we are specialized in what we do, and we have, and our consultants have unique and very in-depth skill set. However, we don't have the answer to everything, and it doesn't fit everyone's business. What's most important is that we have the resources and the means to reach out and to find the connecting piece between all of those resources that are available across the state or even across the country.
Great.
We also offer a training program. All of our consulting services are at no cost. We do offer training, and there is a cost for training, but we do have an entrepreneurial training program that there is a small fee that's involved, and we go through that whole business planning process. So essentially, it's broken down into three sections. One is kind of the overview, and then the big picture of the marketing strategy, which I kind of mentioned before. Secondly, would be operations, and then from that marketing strategy and operations, that all leads to the financial projections. And so there's creating new revenue streams, whether it's understanding how much cash is needed and what that cash flow is so that you can pay, your expenses until business starts to pick up. That's really an educational process, and that we want to make sure that people come through us and we work through all those details before they go out and just rent a space or start a business and then try to figure out where it goes. And as we work through all of those opportunities, sometimes we realize, hey, that, this is just really a hobby and it's not a business, right? And that's a success to us because we want to make sure that people do maintain their wealth, and we don't want to see people go bankrupt. We want people to be successful. We want them to continue and have growth and spark the economy and have some resiliency to what's happening in the economy and achieve success.
Definitely. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I would like to say, thank you for taking the time to sit with us today and have a conversation about the many great opportunities that the Small Business Development Center has and is available to all entrepreneurs that are looking to try and scale or start their businesses. So thank you again, Tara, for meeting with us today and having a conversation. And to everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Nuts and Bolts of NiiCap. I am your host, Marcus Grino, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.